Show me in, show me in! Hey everybody, Aaron Cowan, Sage Dynamics, and today we are going to talk about a threshold evaluation drill. As you can see, I basically got a doorway set up here. It's constructed out of moving boxes. I picked them up at your big box home improvement store. Cut them in half, you get them height, and obviously you can use target stands, and make this wall as long as you want it. You can get a second set up your false hallway, whatever you have to do. The point of this drill, and the point of kind of getting this out here, is there's two basic ways to evaluate a threshold. Now, for home defense purposes, we don't want to leave where we are unless we need to move to someone else. What I mean by that is if you're in your bedroom with your wife or by yourself, and you have a child in the house, sleeps in a separate room, and you detect some kind of sights or sounds of forced entry, burglary, home invasion. You can't stay in a room, you can't barricade in place, because you can't count on the kid to come to you, or the wife, or whoever happens to not be in the same room as you. So you gotta go get them. This is why we wanna know how to do this. Now, if you live alone, this is good academic and practice information, but you should fight from the real estate you own. And I'm gonna expand upon that as we go on. Okay, just to get it out of the way, you cannot clear a building by yourself, unless it's a really small one-room shed or a porta potty or something like that. The larger the building is, the larger the house is, the more people you'd need to clear it, but you can search it. The reason you can't clear it is because anytime you move from an area where you control the real estate in this room, and you move into another room, you've given up that room. Now, there might not be another point of entry into that room, so you're fairly certain that once you leave it, no one's gonna move into it. But as the size of the house or the size of the building increases, it decreases your chances of actually clearing the building for certain. So what we're talking about is searching techniques. We're searching for the bad guy. He's our goal. What's driving us? Well, if I gotta leave my bedroom and go find my kid, that's driving me. I'm gonna move pretty quick, but I still need to move with my safety in mind, because if I get hurt, I can't protect my child. So I'm sure everybody's familiar with at least the term of pieing the door, or pieing the angle, whatever. Really, none of this is magic. All it is geometry with intent. We're gonna use angles to our advantage as much as possible. If I want to pie this doorway, I'm simply going to pin the wall and look as deep into that room as I can. Now, I can lean out, but once I lean out, I don't want to lean back, because if I do, I've given up that real estate. So right now, someone could move into that small angle I gave up, and when I come back out, I'm going to be surprised. So from here, I can lean out, and I can just start to move around, coming off the wall, and I'm arcing around. I'm going to take my time as the situation allows. Obviously, I can speed up, and if I see a bad guy, I can immediately engage. That's your basic pieing concept. Now, you've got two types of rooms generally. You've got a corner fed and a center fed. If it's a corner fed room, I want to pin that corner, meaning there's my short wall. I know the corner's right here. This is the wall. This is what I want to pin, because this side of the room may be so deep I can't see all the way to that wall. Once I know for certain that this corner is empty, when I actually make entry into the room, that's going to be my destination, because I know for certain there's no one there. And I can keep my attention towards that corner that I can't clear. Depending on the furniture and the arrangement of a room, when you pie around like this, you can see up to 90% of the room. Okay, it's hard to visualize a percentage, I know that, but 90% is a whole lot. Now, 2 or 3 people can hide in that 10%, but you're going to be fairly certain of where they're at. Now, if there's couches, beds, closets, those things are obviously going to cause concern, and you'll have to secondarily search those once you make entry into the room, if you make entry into the room. All right, so if I'm working from a room into a hallway, I've got some options. If the hallway is deep on either side, pieing is going to be somewhat ineffective, but I might want to start it off that way. Your average doorway is about 2.5 feet wide, your average hallway is about 3 feet wide. So I've got some room to work with, but because of the compression of those angles, even pieing, like I said, you can't see too far in either direction. So I'm going to pie it, go ahead and knock that out, and then I'm going to do basically an angled peak. Now, if I'm leaving a room, going into a hallway, obviously for the sake of training, there's a training artificiality here, I don't actually have a hallway. I'm still working with my door. I'm going to bring the gun in. I don't want to stay on the sights because I lose all this data down here. There could be clues, broken glass, the bad guy, whatever, in that area. I don't want the gun to block it. So I keep my high ready and I work my way forward. Now I can pie from in here. It's just as simple as moving all the way around just like we've already done, and seeing what I can see. Like here's my bad guy. But if I don't have the opportunity to do that because of the shallowness of the hallway or the fact that it's too deep in either direction, I'm gonna pie it first to see what I can see, and then I'm gonna creep up and just press out. So what I can do is slowly work my way forward, getting an idea of what I'm looking at. Seeing there, I'm taking in as much of this hallway as I can. Once I get to this threshold, before I expose myself, I have to make a decision. Now, I probably have a direction that I want to move in. So, that's gonna be the way I move. But first, I need to make sure the other direction is clear. The easiest way to do that is to simply lean out and look. Now, at this point, I can immediately turn and move, or if I'm worried or it's too dark or my weapon light isn't working or what have you, I can lean out, get an idea what I'm looking at, and then bring myself back in. Now, if I move quick, even if someone moves into that section, I'm gonna be able to detect it. I'm gonna go down to one knee, just so if someone was watching from this way, things are different. I'm gonna peek out and I'm gonna immediately move. Now at this point, I've engaged my threat. I don't want to vapor lock and immediately move into that room. I want to fight from real estate I own. I'm going to make sure he's down. Either he bleeds out and goes unconscious, or he's unconscious because I gave him really, really good service. I want to move quick, but I need to make sure that I clear the rest of this room, search the rest of this room, move into it, and keep going on my way. If this is the hallway, I got to go in there. Move, secure my kids, secure my loved ones. All right, so what changes with the rifle? A lot of people say, you know, length is an issue. If I'm working from a hallway, I got 3 feet to work with. If I fully extend the rifle, how far beyond the natural position of the handgun does it really go? So full extension, right? It's going to be about the same length as your handgun unless you're running an 18 or a 20-inch rifle. If you're running a true 16 like I am, that's about the same length as a handgun. There are a few inches of difference. So significant issue? No, not really. Rifle's going to be superior for a number of reasons. Not really going to get into that in this video, but I got to use the rifle. Same thing, I want to keep it at a high ready, but I need to get it out of my peripheral vision. So I might bring it over down here, I might keep it low, I might do any number of things to keep my muzzle from muzzling anything I don't want to shoot. But it needs to be ready, and I need to be able to shoot fast because time compression. I'm indoors, close quarters. If my threat presents, he's going to be extremely close, and I need to be able to dispatch him with the ultimate efficiency of speed. Pine is the same. I simply work around, now again, after I engage my bad guy, I need to finish my arc, make sure the room is as clear as possible. I always want to pin that short corner if I can, because I can see in there, I can see that joint, see that wall, know that corner is empty. Then I want to work my way around. So you pied your door, you're ready for your entry. What do you do? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Once I pie around and I've come to my final corner, started over there, ended up here. What do I do for an entry? Now we already talked about entering into a hallway. Entering into a room's a little different. Basically, all I want to do once I've committed, I know this, I'm fairly certain this corner here is clear because this is my short wall. This is my long wall. I can't see in that corner. Now I can move to my short corner and look to my unknown, or I can move directly towards my unknown corner, and then once I've cleared it, ensure that this corner is in fact clear. I have a decision. I can technically not be wrong. Now if I was working with a team, one guy'd go left, one guy'd go right, one guy might go straight forward and then off the door to get out of the fatal funnel, what have you. But since I'm by myself, I'm just going to search through this. I'm going to press in, and if I see a bad guy, then I can get on my sights. Now don't misunderstand me. If you want to excel at these techniques, seek professional training. However, until then, you can use some of the tips I've given you in this video to kind of get an idea how you can navigate. Truth told, like I said, there's nothing magic about this. However, we have been navigating our entire lives, since we've been walking, around angles. We know how to work them. It's when we get lazy and start to take shortcuts, such as cutting corners and things like that, that we lose the ability to use geometry to our advantage. Angles are just angles. We want to work them as far off as possible within reason, so we have the most view of what we're moving into. Furniture, floor space, construction, architecture, all these things are going to limit that, but we can work around them to the best of our ability. Obviously, work with a practice partner. You need an outdoor range. I can't say it enough. Find somewhere where you can shoot, where you can move, where you can set stuff like this up. Even if you can only travel there once or twice a year, it's better than never going there. Now, you can obviously do this in dry fire with your own home, and you should, because chances are the floor plan you're going to fight from if you're a citizen is your own floor plan. So learn it. Learn any place you frequent, such as your office, the malls, things like that. And you can work angles in public, just don't use your gun. Work the angles, maybe puppet gun a little bit until people start looking at you weird, then you got to leave. Things of that nature. Have somebody set these walls up, have somebody set up the bad guys so you don't know where they are, and then just work through it. 100 rounds will serve you well just with this drill because you stack a lot of skills together at the same time when you work through it. I'm Aaron Cowan with Sage Dynamics. Train accordingly. Battle count. To thine own haters, be true.